to Wild and Free Art. Today I am going to share with you a few ways of how to make a more decorative stitch on a single signature binding. Now, I've shown a lot of different types of decorative stitches for multiple signatures, but I haven't really shown anything for single signatures. And I thought it might be fun to go beyond the 3-hole pamphlet stitch and look at some variations that you can use to make your single signature booklets or journals or pamphlets, whatever you want to make with them, a little bit more attractive and fun. Because it's easier to get the wow factor on a fancy and complex stitch with a big thick one, but it's also fun to have a tactile experience on a smaller book instead. So I have these that need binding. These are all little mini single signature journals, and I will be showing a tutorial on how I made these next week. But for today, they're going to be my little samples on how to do these different types of decorative stitches on a simple and single signature. So basically, most of these are variations on 2 stitches. And I am sure that you will probably know at least these 2. So one is the chain stitch, and the other variation is the dash or running stitch. So basically everyone knows the running stitch. You go in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And that's pretty simple. So today we're going to be doing variations on the dash stitch and on the chain stitch. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to do. So I'm going to show you 6 different stitches based on these, simple ones. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you the saddle stitch, which is the next step up to the running stitch. So in order to do the saddle stitch, it's easier if you do an even number of holes. The length of the string of the bookbinding thread that is showing on the spine will be different depending on how far apart you punch your holes. So I am going to do the saddle stitch on this one. So let's see what thread I feel would look nice on this one. Gray? Oh, wait. Yes, this gray kind of matches in with the wing. So let's use you. So I'm just using waxed linen thread, and you're going to want to go about 2.5 roughly. I always like to have extras. There, and you're going to want to thread your needle, which is here. All right. So for the saddle stitch here, I've done 12. I might do 12 again here on this one. And you can make a template out of cardstock like I've done here to show the different ways of doing it. Or you can, because it's just a one signature one, you can kind of eyeball it. It's up to you what you want to do. I'm going to base myself off my template because the length is about right. But first I am going to get a clip to clip together the pages, or else they will go everywhere. Okay, I've clipped my signatures. I am going to line them up how I want them. Okay, I'm going to get my little template, stick it more or less here in the middle, and do my 12. I might even be able to do 14 on this one, so I'm going to go with 14. Now you're going to want to find where you put your thread here. And we're going to start. So to do the saddle stitch, what you're going to do is you're going to start working in the middle and either work your way up or down, in and out through the sewing stations in a running stitch, and then you're going to come back and do the running stitch the opposite way. So in my case here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's the middle. So I'm going to come out through here. Once I realign it, because I moved everything. There we go. Okay. And you want to leave a tail so that you can tie it off. That should be enough. And then I'm just going to go from the bottom to the top. So then you're going to go in through your next sewing station and come out. And then back in and out. Back through the next one. Okay, then when you get to this last one, you're going to go back in. And then you're going to go back through your previous hole. So you're basically now going to run your stitch in the opposite direction to the top to come back down again and end up where you started. So just be careful when you're going through not to catch the thread, because then it's all a pain. I know I say that all the time, but I say it because I do it all the time, constantly get it caught in, and it's very irritating. So I don't want you to make the same mistakes I do. Okay. Okay, so now we've made it back to the middle, and we're just going to keep going with our running stitch. So back through the beginning hole that we started with. And then through the next hole that we've punched, which is here. And then when you get to the last one on the top, you're going to repeat and go down the same as you did when you went up. And once you have gone back in the middle, you can tie it off using a square knot. And there you have your saddle stitch. And this is what it looks like on the inside. So the next one that we're going to do, you can do it with just one color, but I quite like the two colors. So it's the two color laced dash stitch. So again, we're going to be doing basically a running stitch, and then we're going to be weaving the other thread through. So again here, I don't know if you can see, but you actually have, even though this one doesn't look like it, there is a hole in here. So again, you're going to want to do an even number of holes. I'm just going to follow my template here, and then you're going to want two colors of thread. So I'm going to get everything threaded and punched, and then we'll get started. So I have punched my holes, and I have prepared my needle with the darker thread, which is what I want to use for the dots and, the dashes. And then the weaving, I'm going to use the lighter color thread. So you're going to want to basically start like you would normally start, except you're going to skip that first hole and go into your second hole. So you can start from the head or the tail. It doesn't really matter because the result will come out more or less the same. So, and you're going to leave a tail inside. You're going to skip that and come out and do the next hole. Assuming I can actually aim and fire. I might need to put my glasses on. I'm starting to go blind. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to continue doing alternate running stitches through just one hole until I get to the end here, where I will once again skip the second last hole to make a longer stitch. Okay, so here I'm coming out. I'm going to skip this hole and go back into this hole. Okay, so now that that thread is done, I can pull that, leave these tails, because then you're going to use them to tie off the other color of thread. Now I would just do about 1.5 on this. I always over exaggerate because I don't like running out of thread. All right, now that the blind one has managed to get it in, what you're going to do now is actually you're going to come out through that second hole in the different color of thread. So whether you come out from the top or the bottom, it doesn't really matter. So you're going to come in through this hole, come out from under or over, as long as you're consistent in both ends. You're going to pull, leaving, not doing what I did. Try that again. Going to pull through, leaving a tail on the inside. And you can take this moment to just tie these two bits together using a square knot. Okay, snip off any excess. Okay, so now that's done. Now we begin the weaving. So you're going to come over, come under this, pull slightly, but not too much. This isn't really going to hold it together. You want to actually see it. Then you're going to come back in from the top and from the underside. Okay, in from the top. Okay. And then here, you're going to come back following your pattern back under in through this hole. My hands are all waxy. They're slipping on the needle. Okay, there we go. Now, you might want to adjust the tightness of your weave. I like it quite loose. I want to see the actual weave, so I'm kind of going to do this, like so. And then you're going to just tie off in a square knot on the other end. And this is your little woven laced dash stitch. I think it looks quite nice, complements it really well. And the inside is just normal in there. So the next one that we're going to do is the dot dash. So if you look here, you can see that it has a dash and that basically you have these little dots or little knots in between at each station. So the way that we're going to do that actually is by tying little half hitch loops. Basically, I'm doing a double one to make it bigger, but you can do it with a single one. Now, again, you could do a variation of this with two different colors. So you could run the long one with one color and then all the dots in a second color and tie them together like I did with the two color lace dash stitch. And actually, I might actually just do that, because my crow does have these two colors. So I'm going to actually do that. So you can see it in person, live. Anyway, so we're going to do this again. Going to do the same as before, just following my template. Have my holes punched, and the first step is super easy. What you're going to do is you're going to run a long stitch from the top to the bottom. So you're going to go in through your top hole, leave your tail, and just back through the bottom hole, and that's it. Now, if you were doing this all the same color, you would do the next step just straight on without having to rethread your needle or anything. But since I'm going to do it with two different colors, I'm just going to rethread my needle. And, or you could have two needles and everything all ready to go if you're smarter than me. All right, so now that that is ready to go, it's time for us to begin. So you're going to go in through your second station, either head or tail, it doesn't matter. Come out from underneath the main one here, pull it through. Leave your tail, and here you can tie it off. Okay. So now this is how you're going to make the dot. So you've come out and you've come up from under, you're going to go over it. So you loop up. Okay. You're going to then come back around from underneath. And then you're going to go back into your hole from the other side. So basically we're going to create a knot over top of the other stitch. And when you pull, it should come together in a nice knot. There we go. This one, obviously you can tighten it. And there you go. I don't want to over tighten because I quite like seeing the knot visible. I'm not sure if you can see how that is. So we'll do it again. So back inside, you're going to come out from one direction. Go over your string or under it, depending how you came out. Come loop around and go back in through the same hole, but from the other side. And then just pull gently. You can always just tug on that to straighten that. And you repeat the same pattern over and over again until you get to the end. Out from under, you can pull it, you go under and around. Sorry. You go over, under, and around. You come back, you go over and back through the hole that you came out of. Careful not to get the string on the inside and go through it. And then you pull gently. Once you go through all your papers, there we go. And you have your dash. Once you get to your last hole, you're going to repeat your knot. The same as the others. Okay. And before you tie everything off, make sure that it's all straight, that all the knots are how you want them, in the position you want them, and then tie it off in a square knot. And there you have your binding. Feels very cool. And this is the inside. The next one that we're going to do is a twist stitch. You can see here that you have your dashes and dots and your dashes, sorry, and then you have something that is kind of laced and running in between them. So it's kind of like a lace dash stitch, except you're going to be do these a bit closer together, and it's like the bridge between the running stitch or dash stitch and a chain stitch. Basically, you'll see a lot of very familiar things. And if you do embroidery, I think you might recognize this because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's very similar to a stem stitch. So, and you could do this with two different threads. I'm going to just do it with one. I'm going to use, I think, the white one because this is quite, colorful on the spine. So I think I'm going to use that just to contrast it. Now this one, you're going to be using a bit more thread. So I'm going for 4. Probably I don't need to go 4 times the length of my spine, but I always want to try. Better safe than sorry. All right, here we go. Oh wait, I think I need to punch the holes first, don't I? Now we've punched the holes, we can begin. So you're going to want to go in from the inside to the outside, leaving a tail. Then you want to go into your next sewing station, back inside. There it is. Okay, and here, if you like, you can tie off your tail. You're going to come out and do another stitch like a saddle stitch. So you're going to go in, skip 1, come back out. Go back in through the other hole, always underneath. In this case, that's it. Okay, then you're going to come out from the first hole again, trying to come from underneath. You're going to go over the top, slide it in between here. So in between the second one. Oh, trying not to get it tangled. Like this, you're going to make your twist, and then you're going to come back in underneath the next stitch. There we go. You've got your twist. So now you're going to go through the next hole, so the next sewing station. Skip 1 and go back down again from underneath. Trying to go underneath the other hole. Okay, and now it looks like this. Then you're going to come back through your middle one from underneath. You're going to go over it and go through the next one. It's hard to get it started, but once you get into the rhythm of it, it's not so bad. So through that hole. Oh, I missed. Through the right hole. There we go. From underneath. Not sure if you can see. Okay. Okay. You're going to come over this and you're going to go into the next hole. Okay, and now again, back one, come out from underneath, go up, go over, and then go through your next hole once you can see it. There it is. And then you just keep going. In. Once you reach the end, you're just going to basically continue that stitch again. Oh, I came out from the top. Make sure I come out from under. Skip that. Go in through your final sewing station. And then you can just tie it off. And that is your twisted binding. You can see how it twists, and you can see it more maybe here, like how it lifts from the side. So that is that one. And once I get to the center, here it is. That is what it looks like on the inside. Now we're going to move on to the two variations of the chain stitch. So basically, if you know how to do a basic chain stitch, this is super easy. The chain stitch, is you can see how the twist stitch kind of goes into becoming a chain stitch. So basically what we're going to do is we're making a chain stitch with a half hitch knot in between our chains for this one. So I think I'm going to use this for the chains, the hitch chain stitch. So we are going to get it all ready. So again, you're going to start from the inside of your bottom signature, just like you would start a normal one, leaving a tail, of course. I could leave a shorter tail for sure. Okay, you're going to go back in through your next station. Back in and out. Now, differently from the twist one, here you're going to want to try and always come out from the top. So not the bottom, but the top. So you come out from the top, and then you want to go back in through the same hole. So you're basically doing the same stitch twice through. this point, you can tie off your knot. Now you're going to come out your next station here. And here we go. You're going to make sure that you come over instead of under. You're going over this, over both of the things from the first part. You're going to basically you're doing exactly the same thing as forming a chain, except that instead of just going straight like this and then through here, you're actually going to loop through to make a half hitch knot. And then you're going to gently tug, because you don't want to lose that nice half hitch knot here, okay? Then, once you're untangled from all the rest of your stuff, so you've got this, right? And you're going to come back through it to pull it tight, but you want to keep that nice design, right? Okay, and you're going to go back in through your original hole again. And you're basically going to repeat that whole process for the rest. So out, from over, create your little loop, and then come back through it to tighten it. And then go back in. And once you get to the last one, you're just going to complete it like you would do any other chain stitch. So you're just going to go through it, go back underneath the one that you've done before, do your hitch, and then go back through the same hole to finish it off. Actually, I'm just going to randomly poke one extra one. I really don't care. I think it looks good with one more. And then you're going to just tie it off. And this is your hitch chain. It adds a bit more texture and twist to the regular chain stitch, and I think it just feels really cool. And this is how it looks like on the inside. Just simple. We're now on our final stitch for today. And this is a combination of a chain stitch and just the simple running stitch or dash stitch. So again, I'm going to get everything sorted and ready. Okay, this one is probably the easiest, well, one of the easier ones. So you're going to start again from the inside, from your first sewing station, back out. And what you're going to do is do a running stitch all the way up the spine. So just a regular in, out stitch. All right, once you get to the top part of your running stitch, it should look like this, just a regular one. So now we're going to start making our chain stitch. So you're just going to come back through this. We're going to weave our way right back down to the beginning, but making now the chain stitches in the gaps. So you're going to come out, loop under. Again, here you could do the hitch one if you like, but I quite like just the plain one on this one. Go back through. There we go. And then you're going to skip back to the next one. Sorry, the one after that. Come out. Do your chain stitch. Back in. back out, again on the gap, chain, and back in, all the way to the end. And once you've done your last one, you just tie it off. And that is your chain and dash. I really hope that you enjoyed today's tutorial and that you will find a beautiful use for all of these lovely decorative decorative single signature binding type stitches, and it might just add a touch of something a little extra even to your little simple things that you make for your friends, family, or to sell in the market. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and if there's a stitch that I haven't covered yet, or that you'd like me to do. I am a fan of decorative binding stitches, so I'm more than happy to research it, find it out, and make a tutorial for you. So in the meantime, happy creating. Bye-bye.